My name's Achan. I am a South Sudanese Australian and my family are refugees from South Sudan. I was born in Tasmania. I found out that my mum was a refugee because she did speak a lot about being a refugee. She was very, very proud because a long time ago she would think being a refugee is a bad thing. She would actually think of that because people would look down on refugees. And so now she speaks of it very proudly. As we grew up, she would tell us a lot of stories of how life was like back home. After she had brought her family to Australia, my grandma would always talk about the good times and then the really tough times. She had to flee due to the war. Just after my older sister was born, it had come to South Sudan, and she had said that the war was between, well, now it's the North and the South. During that time, a lot of the South Sudanese people had to run, and they would have to run on foot. My family had left from South Sudan, and they went to Ethiopia. And so from Ethiopia, they went to Egypt. From Egypt, they walked to Kakuma, Kenya, and then they became refugees there. When my mum does speak like to my younger brothers about being thankful, she says, especially for things like food, because my mum is very big on not wasting food, it's because when she was in a refugee camp, they would only be able to be given food once a week. And so the food would come in big containers. It would be beans and like rice, and you would eat once and then you would have to wait till the next week to eat again. That's how life was like. She doesn't go too much into detail, maybe because living in a refugee camp wasn't the best life, but they did make a lot of friends and family. So a lot of the people that she knows now in Australia here, they would definitely know because they were all in the same refugee camps, and because refugee camps had numbers, my mom would be like, oh, I was group 37, what group were you? So yeah. She would talk a lot about how much she misses her home and her father, because my mum has not seen her dad since she left Sudan. She had to leave her father because he had to fight in the war, and she left with her mum and all her siblings and stuff like that. So she does talk a lot about that kind of stuff. She says that life as a kid was really good. She misses Christmas in Sudan because they didn't do Christmas trees and presents the way that we do it now. But they did do, like, everybody in the village would, on Christmas, like, they would play games, hide behind trees, and the mothers would cook and stuff like that. So she does miss being a child. When I was in school, I had a lot of Sudanese friends. They would talk about, like, oh, how they used to do this back in Sudan. I can't relate, of course. I would get teased, actually, for being born in Australia, because I guess I didn't experience a lot of what they would experience. In a way, I would actually envy that, because I would want to experience, you know, because I do identify as South Sudanese first before I identify as an Australian. I want to have some sort of experience, but I don't. I know that my mum has definitely experienced way more racism than I have. My mum's accent, obviously, you can hear a lot of her. It's really hard to understand her at times. There was a time we were in the shops and I was with my mom, and there was this man, he called us dogs. Yeah, my mom was very upset about that. My mom has experienced times where, and I don't know if this is really racism, but it is definitely, she's like kind of looked down on. It's like, why can't you just speak to us the same way you speak to everybody else? Why do you automatically think just because we're a different skin tone that, you know, we don't understand English? I have a lot of responsibility being a South Sudanese Australian though, for the kids in my community, because our community is still very strong, and because I am, I guess you can say, an elder in a way, because I am older than a lot of the other children, I do have to hold a lot of responsibility, I guess, in the way that I act. I guess I can say that I act with caution because the kids look up to me. I want to help kids change the way that we're seen. That's, I guess, yeah, that's why. And I do know that it's very different for Caucasians, because when it is them, I guess it can be labelled like that one kid did that. But let's say it's 2 Sudanese kids and it's all of South Sudan. One thing that I've noticed a lot about South Sudanese kids is they do have big dreams, especially moving to a country like Australia, because Australia is full of opportunities. America's full of opportunities, Europe is full of opportunities. And being taken away from a place like Sudan, which actually doesn't have much opportunity, I feel like, because, you know, a lot of the kids that I know, they want to be basketball players and celebrities and all that kind of stuff. I just say follow your dreams, you know. Yeah.